Reports that the Trump administration is seeking to restrict legal status for immigrants who rely on tax credits and other government welfare programs. Let's talk about it with tonight's panel. Radio host Ethan Berman, Fox News contributor Lisa Boothe, and the Federalist's Mollie Hemingway, also a Fox News contributor. Great to see all of you tonight.
Hi, Shannon.
Thanks, Shannon.
All right, to tell you a little bit more about this, this is what a DHS spokeswoman said. Now, this is their proposal. Apparently, they say nothing is finalized yet, but once it is approved, it'll be released. It'll have a comment period, the whole 9 yards. This is what she said in a statement. The administration is committed to enforcing existing immigration law, which is clearly intended to protect the American taxpayer by ensuring that foreign nationals seeking to enter or remain in the U.S. are self-sufficient. Now, Mollie, the left says this is an attack on people who have come here legally and want to gain legal status, and they may need some financial help along the way.
Well, this really gets at the heart of the debate about what type of immigration policy you should have. There are some people who think it should be pretty random and lottery-based, and then there are people who are pushing for a move to the more Australian or Canadian style where self-sufficiency does play a role. Now, it doesn't play a role for people who have special needs or refugee status or particular persecution. But in general, a lot of the immigration that comes into this country, a lot of the immigrants that come into this country, American citizens are looking for people who can be self-sufficient and can contribute to the economy. And a lot of immigrants do. But this is one of the tests to make sure that this is working out for current American citizens as well.
Well, in reacting to this, a statement from DNC Chair Tom Perez says this: it's another heartless attack on immigrants. Donald Trump should spend less time finding ways to punish hardworking families and more time standing up for the values of inclusion and opportunity that make America great. Your response, Lisa?
Well, I think Mollie is absolutely right, and this is consistent with what we've seen from this White House, particularly on legal immigration, on the RAISE Act as well, that President Trump endorsed, that was introduced by Senators Cotton and Perdue, that looks at what Mollie discussed was a merit-based immigration approach, and something that President Trump pushed for as well when he laid out what he would ideally like to see Congress pass and address on the DACA issue. Also, so I think this is very consistent with what we've seen from President Trump wanting to bring people into this country that would benefit more economically, maybe not take as much public assistance, and would bring some sort of skill set to the workforce.
Ethan, the DHS says, too, this is about making sure that U.S. taxpayers are treated fairly because ultimately there is a price tag for some of these benefits. What say you?
Well, of course we want U.S. taxpayers to be treated fairly, but the 1996 Welfare Act and the Immigration Act of 1996 already addressed this issue. So this is just a very marginal number of people. Immigrants, legal immigrants already overabundantly contribute to our economy. There are a greater number of small business owners than native-borns. They actually work at a higher percentage than native-borns. And their higher education levels, they actually earn more than native-born Americans. So this is just meat to the base because it's such a tiny percentage of people that we're even talking about. It's not billions of dollars that are being abused or wasted right now.
Okay, I want to make sure that this next topic I get all three of you in. So if you keep your answers relatively brisk. Ethan, I'll start with you and we'll work back. Today, the Inspector General of the DOJ says he's going to look into these allegations about whether the FISA warrant system was abused, whether the DOJ and the FBI under the Obama administration was fair and complied with the law.
Yeah, I think any time that there is an objective investigation by an objective Inspector General, that's something that we all need. We need to know that the process works. However, in this case, it sure seems to be a right-wing move that seems to think that the deep state is so embedded that the FBI is unable to function. Yes, we have a couple of bad apples who were caught red-handed and were removed from the process. But really, I mean, we have the new Manafort connection to the Russian intelligence, and that's not what we're talking about.
Lisa?
Well, you also have bad actors that were in part helping to lead these investigations. So that's where the concern boils down to. But I do think, to Ethan's point, Michael Horitz is going to be deemed as a more objective investigator in this term. However, he doesn't have the prosecutorial authority, which is why you have people like Chairman Gowdy, also members of the Senate, calling for a second special counsel.
And Mollie, the top Democrat on the Judiciary Committee says this is a conspiracy theory. It's been debunked. It's a waste of time and money.
Well, in the last year, you've had congressional committees on both sides of the Senate and the House looking into Russian meddling. You've had the Inspector General looking into the Hillary Clinton email probe. And what everybody has found is some violations of processes and serious problems at the Department of Justice and FBI. You've already had at least 6, 7, 8 people who are fired, demoted, moved around because of these problems, and you have very serious issue with FISA abuse. Since these are secret courts, it's incumbent upon our government to make sure that we are handling our surveillance authority well, and we do need to restore the credibility of our federal law enforcement. This IG is a good step. It's a small step, though, because the IG can't compel testimony from people who have left FBI or DOJ, and it also doesn't deal with the problems that we've found at state, CIA, and other agencies as well. So we'll probably still need a special prosecutor just so everyone can trust the FBI and DOJ.
Yeah, the calls for those continue. All right, panel, you are fabulous. We want you to come back, so stick around. We've got some more hot topics for you in just a minute. Thank you, guys. Meanwhile,